My name's Dusk, and I'm a fighter.
Dear Mr. Pilgrim, it has come to my attention that we will be fighting soon.
The fighting genre is somewhat muddled, seeing as how brawlers and hack-and-slash games can arguably fall under fighting subcategory. That being said, I'm opting out of picking Scott Pilgrim vs. the World for two reasons. One, if you knew me, that would have been fairly obvious.
What else?
And two, it was either that or No More Heroes. Unfortunately, No More Heroes falls under action, apparently. My favorite fighting game is Guilty Gear XX Reloaded for the PSP, developed by Arc System Works. If you don't know anything about Guilty Gear, then you either A, grew up on Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, or B, grew up on Mortal Kombat and Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar, you ask? Sorry, I'll tell you when you're older. Like every other fighting game, it has some vague, complex story that's never really explained in the game and barely touched upon in the manual. Apparently in the future, scientists create biological weapons called gears for military purposes. Yeah, that shit gets out of control. The first true gear is some chick named Justice who looks like some reject of Transformers mixed with a lizard, apparently. And was the lover of the main character, Soul Bad Guy. He's a gear. He hates them too. So what does he do? He goes around the world eradicating gears. And this takes place in like 2153 or some crap, so don't expect to find a dystopian world ruled by freaks like Superman.
Spare me the mystic crap.
Now I'm gonna give you a little something about each character. This game's got quite a big roster. Soul Bad Guy. He's your standard, generic hero. He's got this sword that doesn't have a single edge to it. It's more like a piece of metal that's like blockish. He controls fire, so he can like turn the sword fire and stuff. And he also has this ability called Overdrive. Yeah, the ability Overdrive, where he turns into his gear form. Then we have KY Kisuke. Now, you could be a dick and just say Kai, but, I don't know. I chuckle when I hear that name. I really don't think I should elaborate on that. Axel Lowe. He is a time-traveling person. He lived in London and apparently knew Soul Bad Guy. Has a different name. I forgot what that name was. He wields a pair of kunasagi, which are two small sickles attached to a chain. He's pretty badass. He's got some pretty cool one-liners. Then we have Slayer, which is a vampire with class. Yes, you always have to have a vampire with class. I mean, he's no Edward Cullen, apparently, but he gets his point across. Then May. Sweet Lolita little girl who can pick up a ship anchor with one hand and swing it around like a baseball bat. Yeah. Anije Mito. He's your stereotypical Japanese man who has a fan as a weapon, and it's apparently mystical and stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, apparently Japanese were wiped out during the Great Gear War. I think that's pretty funny. And then you have another of the last Japanese, Viking, which is the samurai chick who does not play around. She's like an amputee, okay? And she has like this metal claw that is like regularly would be used for like scaling walls and stuff. She uses that as like, think of it as a Guilty Gear version of the Devil Bringer. Then you have Dizzy. She's like the main gear that everyone's focused on, because Zappa. I think Zappa's probably like the funniest character in this whole entire like game, because he's possessed by this spirit that apparently like is in love with him, but he doesn't even know that it exists. He thinks like he knows that there's something wrong with him, he just doesn't know exactly what it is. Eddie. I had to research this one, and apparently it was this one guy. I really can't remember the name. Sorry for that. I know I should be like more prepared, but my internet is down and stuff. he was this one guy, and apparently this entity possessed him, so now he's known as Eddie. And it's like, dark shadow dragon thing. Then we have Miller Rage. Yeah, total badass name right there, Miller Rage. She's like this chick that has way long hair, like, she would almost give Bayonetta a run for her money. Almost. But she can, like, magically use her hair as a weapon. Change the density of it and the shape. And then my favorite, Chip Zenith. It's like if you took Soul Eater and Black Star and you just combined them. Yeah, that's Chip Zenith. A little backstory on Chip Zenith. He was like this drug dealer. Apparently he was like also using some of his own stuff, and it got like really bad. And then all of a sudden, this old guy comes up and saves him and teaches him how to be a ninja. And then my second favorite, Faust. This is like the Kishin, except he has a bag over his head. He can stretch and stuff, and he's a doctor. So it's like Ashura and Dr. Stein with a huge gigantic scalpel. It's amazing. It's totally awesome. It's incredible. Let me tell you about it. He's bald, and apparently doesn't have a face. And if he does have a face, they don't show it, because like he like literally has a taunt where he takes off the bag and just him bald. Doesn't have a face, but like it's glow. The weird thing about him is his fighting style. It's totally erratic. It's like he can go from low creeping attack, and then all of a sudden he can like hop on his scalpel that's way too big and like do a bunch of like branching attacks. And he can throw down bombs, he can throw stuff in the air, and you won't even know what it'll be. It could be like something to raise your tension, or it could be like poison, or it could be some miniature boss that hits the enemy with a hammer, or it could be a hammer. You don't even know. Then we have Ino, the sex object of the game. Her finishing taunts. I don't mean like her. Yeah, let's call it her finishing taunts. She will literally take off her dress and turn around with it on her back. And she makes a lot of sexual references relating to music. Testament is the only person that has a scythe, and to be honest, it sucks, in my opinion. Blood and stuff. The scythe is like malleable, and he's pretty much like the trap artist of the game. Like, you can set up a bunch of different traps, like, and they'll hide in the background. Like, you won't even know when they're there until like your opponent like bumps into it, and like it's too late. Cause like if you're a strategic person, definitely pick Testament. And Jam, she's like the generic fighter. She kick butt, and all of her special abilities allow her to stalk chakras for like her feet or her hands or a combination of both, and you can like unleash multiple bursts of superhuman strength. And Potemkin, he's like the only black guy in this game, and he's totally beefed out. And then Johnny. Johnny is a player, and in my personal opinion, probably a pedophile too, because he has like a whole entire ship filled with nothing but girls that are mostly underage, except the cook, who's probably like in her like maybe 50s. And then one baby. May actually belongs on Johnny's crew, and the ship is called the May ship. And then Bridget. Now, if you're like on top of your game on the interwebs, you probably know what Bridget is, or you know the meme of Bridget. Bridget is a boy. It is not a girl. He has a yo-yo. He has a yo-yo that turns into deadly weapons. Wrapping this up, Venom. I'm sorry, he's the second black person in this game. I'm sorry, my bad. We have Robo KY. Apparently, the guild that KY used to be in, like the Knights of something or other, they had to let KY go, so they made a copy of him, which is supposed to be like more efficient. And even though this is a robot, it's pretty like perverse.
I don't know. Are you with me?
Hey, I don't want to interrupt your fiesta. Who's next?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Every 20 tiers is a boss. Start the boss. boss because it's like all black and red. Stuff. This game's pretty awesome. Yeah, I give this 11 out of 5.